what is up everyone? It's Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today I have got some book and publishing news to share with you today. Some pretty major things are happening in the publishing industry right now. I was gonna do a video a while ago on the Penguin Random House merger thing that was happening, but then by the time that I really understood what was going on, there were so many videos on it, and I haven't seen anyone really talk about what's happening with Harper Collins right now, so I thought we could get into that today. If you don't already know, Harper Collins is one of the big 5/4 publishing houses in the United States. It's located in Manhattan. This publishing house has given us books like The Song of Achilles, The Hate You Give, Hook, Line, and Sinker, They Both Die at the End, the Warrior Cats books, and so many more. I mean, this publishing company is huge. And right now, about 250 union workers at Harper Collins are on strike for unfair wages and lack of diversity in the publishing house. These people work in editing, design, marketing, publicity, and so many other areas of the publishing house. And these are all of the people who do the behind the scenes of pushing a book into the market, right? These are the people who are helping the authors, who are promoting the book, marketing, making the cover designs. Arguably really important people in this industry. I mean, if you don't have a good editor or a good cover on your book, it's not going to sell. The major reason that this strike is happening right now has been said that it is the lack of wages. So, and the low pay of wages. And it's not a new concept. We've known for a long time that working in the publishing industry, unless you're one of the top people, is not a good paying industry. We've known that. We also have known that it is very predominantly white. The figures I have to look at right now are all from 2019, so this may have changed in the last couple of years, but I can't imagine it's been too much. So right now, the industry as a whole, 76% of it is white. So that includes everyone except for authors. This is people in sales, marketing, publishing, editing, all of that. 76% are white people. 74% of the industry is comprised of cis women, and that just means that they're not trans women. 81% of people working in the publishing industry are straight, and 89% of them are non-disabled. So just some stats to throw at you, kind of interesting, that probably play a big role into why certain jobs are paid so little and or why these people are going on strike in the first place. So the average cost of living for one person in New York City right now is about $5,300 a month. That includes rent and utilities. As we all know, rent has just exploded with how expensive it is to live anywhere in the world right now. But so from the figures that I was able to find, and all of my sources and everything I'm linking down below if you want to check anything out or do some further reading. But what I saw was around $5,300 for one person in New York City a month. The current average salary rate at Harper Collins is $55,000 a year. $5,300 for a month is $63,000 a year with taxes. But right now, the average salary at Harper Collins is $55,000 a year without taxes taken out. So as you can imagine, you can't even really work at this company with an average salary and be able to survive in New York City by yourself. But not living in the city isn't even really an option for these people, because it's been stated that Harper Collins requires you to live close enough to commute into the office at least one day a week. So it's not even just a question of moving to a less expensive part of the city or moving to a less expensive state or area. These people are required to live in a commutable distance from Harper Collins Publishing. And publishing, it's interesting. The more that I learn about publishing, the more it feels like theater to me in a lot of the ways that the business is run, because there's this kind of elitism to it all. But on top of that, it's one of those businesses where they just expect you as an artist to want to do the job so bad that you will take pennies to do just shit work, basically. But on top of that, because you're supposed to be passionate about it, there's 50 people waiting to take this job. And that's actually what one of the editors who's striking right now, I think it's Stephanie Guerdon, I think that's how you say her name. She is quoted in a lot of these articles. She's one of the people kind of rallying the workers, and she's spoken to a lot of news outlets. And that's what she even stated, is that she 6 years ago was offered the salary of $33,000 a year, and she was afraid to negotiate and advocate for herself, because there's this kind of feeling within the industry that if you ask for too much, they will pull away, because there is someone who is willing to work for that pay. There is someone who's willing to take less money to have this job, and you should feel grateful that they want you in the first place. It's very interesting. And the publishing company hasn't accepted any interviews, but basically what they've said to everyone who's asked is we've been in negotiations and like we're just hoping we can come to a compromise, and that they're doing this all in good faith. The union workers are kind of retaliating, saying that they've been working without a contract for 194 days and like it's no longer good faith negotiations anymore. Like they just don't want to negotiate. So because of this, the workers at the Harper Collins Publishing House is on an indefinite strike currently, today, as this video is being posted. I think it started almost a week ago. And this isn't the first strike that the workers have gone on just this year alone. They did this again back in July for the same reason, and then they've been working without a contract since then, hoping to resolve this issue, and it hasn't been resolved, so now they're striking. So this is like a continuation of what happened back in July is now happening here now again, because the publishing company is just kind of refusing to negotiate and work with the people. It's interesting because right now there is a really big support in the US for labor unions again. And I know, like, for me, talking about being in a union was enough to get you fired from your job immediately. If you tried to unionize the people, the company would just like, you'd be kicked out and you would never come back again. It's very interesting. But right now in the US, the approval rate for working in a union, it is at 71%, which is the highest it's been since 1965, which is really interesting. And I think part of that is with like the whole Starbucks thing that has been going on and all this other like just really interesting things happening with all of it. And a lot of the authors that have published at HarperCollins are also really coming out in support for the workers, saying that pay your people what they're owed. I mean, the authors also kind of have a bone to pick, because it is also well known that unless you are an A-list author, I don't actually know what it's called when you're like in the top tier, but like unless you're like Stephen King, these people aren't actually like giving you good money for your book, because it's an investment in you, but it's no longer at the point where like the investment is worth it for a lot of authors, because you know, they'll say that you get a $15,000 advance, let's say. $15,000 sounds really awesome, right? And you're like, yes, I will take that. And then they split that $15,000 up between like 4 different payments, and then you'll get this much money here, and then after a couple of years you'll get this much money, and then after this has gone through and your book is sent to print, then you'll get the rest of the money, you know. And then before authors can even touch royalties, they have to earn back that $15,000 that the company gave them. So if they give you $15,000, you have to make that much money back, and then you can start getting your like 20% royalties or whatever the company gives you. And I don't know if you know this, most books don't sell out their royalties. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but most authors don't actually make that line to start making royalties on their books. And so like they get their advance of the $15,000, and then that's all they see from the publishing company ever. So it's very interesting. There's some other stuff going on in the company, and I don't have a good enough understanding of like the laws of labor to really talk on that, but I know that I think they said their profits at HarperCollins have been down like 11% or something like that since April. And with that, they did lay off a bunch of people, but I think one of the arguments was that it was disproportionately the people who are in the union. They were just like, all right, you guys can go, which is obviously something that they are also fighting back against, because one of the things that the union wants to do is have job security so that you can't be fired for things like that. It's all very interesting. There's lots of stuff happening. If you want to learn more about the strike that's going on right now from the people who are striking, they do have an Instagram called HPC Union. I've been following their page, sharing their stories. It's really interesting to hear them talk. They're going live during the strikes. They are sharing information, talking about what it's actually been like, and like talking to the people basically where this is happening to. So if you're interested in that, I really suggest giving that page a follow. And that way you're getting information directly from the people and not just from me spouting at my camera. And they've also stated that if you want to help them with their cause, there are a couple things that you can do, even if you're not someone who works in the publishing industry, but just us as readers, right? Like, every time we buy a book from HarperCollins, we are supporting the company that is not paying their workers a livable wage in New York City. And publishing is a very, very big industry. Like, they have money. So if you want to support these people, you can donate to the Strikers Fund. It's basically a pool of money that the workers divide between each other so that they can have their basic needs met, because while they're on strike, they're not getting paid. So they are doing this in order to hopefully make everything better for everyone who works at this company. But in that time, they have sacrificed any pay, for as long as this strike goes on. So these are donations given by people to make sure that they can pay their rent or buy meals or things like that. You can also email HarperCollins at peopleteam@harpercollins.com and show them your support for the workers and the union. You can boost their messages on social media, just sharing it with your friends, sharing it on your story, sharing it on Facebook, whatever. If you review or blog about books, any HarperCollins books that you're currently waiting to review or holding on to, wait to review those books till the solution can be resolved, because reviews boost sales and talking about books boost sales. And they're not saying that you should never read these books or that you shouldn't, whatever after, but they just want the contract from the company, negotiating with them on their wages. And if you are a bookseller or a bookstore owner, they have bookmarks that you can print off and give to your customers and explain to them about the strike that's going on and just inform them about what's happening in the publishing world right now. I think the main thing right now is just getting the news out, talking about the strike, and being really open about how the publishing industry is treating its workers. I mean, this has been an issue for a while. This isn't a new issue, but people are really just not able to survive in New York right now, and especially if they're going to require you to live in the city. I feel like they should at least be paying you a wage that allows you to live in the city. But anyway, I've talked enough. I want to know your thoughts about the situation. Let me know in the comments down below. I know for me, I'm going to be sharing more of the information as it comes out from the workers, and just hopefully this gets resolved quickly. I'm also going to be probably holding reviews of any HarperCollins books that I own, and I probably will not be buying any books by them. I haven't been buying books really anyway, but I specifically, if I buy a book, will not be buying books from them until this is resolved. As always, I have lots of links in the description for further reading, or if you want to see what articles I've been looking at, you can check those out down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish and writing related content. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.